I'm going to tell you 6 ways that the top agents look like pros at the closing table. The first thing that top agents have done at the closing table is that they have already talked to their clients about the closing costs so they don't have sticker shock. So whenever it is possible, the closing office is going to send the closing statements to the agents before the closing. And really good agents have already talked to their clients about those before they ever show up to the table. I can almost always tell when an agent has talked to their clients about the closing statement because those clients are way more at ease, they seem way more knowledgeable and comfortable with the closing and with the closing statement, whether it's their first transaction or their 50th. The second thing top agents do is they tell their clients about potential scams that they should be on the lookout for. So one thing that I do during a closing is when I'm telling my buyers about the deed, I tell them about this company that is going to send them a solicitation to pay money for a copy of their recorded deed. Now, this company does in fact deliver what they say they're going to deliver, which is a copy of the recorded deed, but you can obtain that information from the Register of Deeds office for free. So you don't need to pay anybody to get a copy of your recorded deed. And even though that's something I talk about at the closing table, I'm always impressed when an agent beats me to it. Another thing that I always see top agents doing is explaining at the closing table the local utility providers and the process for establishing utilities. The really good ones have a list and contact information and numbers and bullet points of what the client needs to do to get all of these things established. I'm always very impressed by this because they come to the closing table prepared with a lot of information that the client needs to go forward once they move into the house. So the top agents care beyond just getting to the closing table. They care about their client's experience when they first move in. Another thing that top agents do that makes them stand out at the closing table and look like pros is they are incredibly familiar with and they understand the contract that their clients signed. So an example of this is recently I had a buyer client whose survey did not get delivered until 2 hours before the closing. It may not even have been that long. And when the survey was delivered, there was an encroachment revealed. And encroachments are title issues in North Carolina. And this agent, when she got to the table, she told me about the survey. We were looking over it. And I kept telling her different things to start working on. And she had done all of them already. And that's because she knew the contract very well. She knew that survey issues are title issues and that title issues survive due diligence. Because the listing agent said, well, sorry, not our problem. Due diligence is over, so you can't really be bringing this up now. But she knew better because she was very familiar with the contract. And that made her a more powerful negotiator for her clients, and it helped her be really well prepared for what to do, even though this really was a time crunch for the client. Another thing that top agents do is they know when to ask for help and they know when to defer to someone else that's more knowledgeable in an area. It's very tempting, I see, for new agents to want to establish themselves, seem like they know everything possible for their clients because they don't want to be seen as someone who doesn't know what they're doing. But that can get you into a bit of a trap because if you are not an expert in an area or not very knowledgeable in an area, you may be leading your clients astray. So when it comes to lending and underwriting, if you have not been a lender or underwriter, you probably should not be giving advice on that topic unless it's something you know very, very well. Same thing, if you are not an attorney, you shouldn't be giving legal advice. So the top agents don't try to give legal advice because they know that that's not permitted by the law or by the real estate commission. And they also know that if there's someone else that knows an area better, then they should ask that person because it's going to help their client. And the final thing that top agents do, or rather they don't do, is they don't sugarcoat. Rather than shying away from potential problems or burying their heads in the sand and acting as if those problems don't exist or telling their clients, oh, that's not really a big deal, we don't have to worry about that. They say, this is what is in front of us and this is how we will attack that issue if it comes up. We've got options 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to go from there if that becomes an issue. And those clients are much more resilient whenever an issue pops up because the agent has not pretended like there's anything that can go wrong. I take great pride as a closing attorney in getting the chance to say at the closing to my buyers, Listen, your agent, it seems like they did a really great job for you. So you should tell all your friends about them because you have done so much hard work to get to the closing table. And it's so much easier for me to be able to say that and do that whenever you do all of these things that we were just talking about. I know it's tough out there as a new agent. You're trying to set yourself apart. So if you want to learn more about how to have a smooth closing process, watch this video.